respected director and staff and students of RBIM. It's such a pleasure to be here with you all today. And it is even greater pleasure to hoist a flag. Right? So 26th Jan, Republic Day, the day when Constitution came into effect. Right? And how many of us have experienced where we had to put together a set of principles, guidelines that we want to abide by? I think you would have done that for the institute, and all of us would have done probably for our apartment complexes, the bylaws, and some of you would have done as student clubs and HR club, marketing club. What are the principles that we want to live by for this club? Who gets membership? Who doesn't get membership? What will they do? Right? How easy or difficult it is to do that? Huh?
Easier to frame.
Easier to frame, right? Easier to frame. And imagine doing it for the country. Doing it for a country with so much diversity, with so many different sections of society, caste, creed, and various other things. And that's what the Constitution has done. It is, as we all know, I think we all started studying it from 3rd grade, 4th grade, where we said, okay, Constitution is a book of guidelines, principles that every citizen has to abide by, and then we read the justice, the liberty, the equality, and the fraternity, right? And like Sir said, it would have been probably, we think it could have been easier to frame. Do you know that 300 people came together to draft this? Who has written this? Do you know who has written this? Who has drafted it? It's like people like you and me. It's people like you and me who came together to say, what should our country be like? What should the citizens do? What are our duties? What are our rights? It's like people like you and me, 300 of them, who came together for close to 3 years. It has taken close to 3 years to draft this. And then said, this is what we citizens give to us citizens. It's not that somebody came and said, okay, these are the rules, these are the things, this is what you have to abide by. This was done by people like you and me. And we were fortunate enough to be born in the era of freedom fight. And we probably are unfortunate enough to hear the stories directly from freedom fighters as well, right? Some of our parents and grandparents had the opportunity to listen to stories directly from freedom fighters. And us, and we didn't have that opportunity also. So probably we have moved farther from understanding value of freedom because we haven't seen it, we haven't heard it, right? So we probably don't value freedom as much because we haven't experienced what it is to be in India, which is ruled by others. Does that make sense? Yeah? So now, when we don't understand it as much, and when we haven't heard stories of how this was done, what was the struggle, do we value it enough? Do we value this freedom enough? Do we value the people around? And what is our role as citizens? Now, we aren't fighting for freedom. We aren't part of this whole struggle that we only hear about or read about in our social studies. What is our role as citizens? What does it mean? What does it mean to be these principles of justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity? What sense does it make to us? Today is a day where we need to reflect on that. Today is the day when we celebrate when Constitution came into effect and reflect on what is our role as citizen. Right? So now I want you to do one simple exercise. Can you all close your eyes? Close your eyes and think of the last time you complained about something. When was the last time you complained about something? It could be about a dirty spot, it could be about traffic, it could be about pollution, it could be about a person who skipped a queue, it could be about something that was not set right in your college, it could be about something that isn't happening right around you. I hope that visualization is coming to you in terms of what is it that you complained about. Now think a bit further on what did you do about it. If you did something about it, pat yourself. If you did not, ask yourself why you did not. Why you did not do anything about that. Right? Just a moment, and now you can open your eyes. Now, when we think of an action, right, we all have these moments of, oh, that is not right, this is not right. And we probably didn't take an action. And why we didn't take an action? Or there are 4 key principles of why the action, right? The first is why. Why should I do it? Why me? Why should I tell that person? Why should I pick that rapper? Why it has to be me? Right? The question is, if not me, who else? Pause for a moment and think, if not me, who else? This setup today is the best part of my job currently that I like is addressing youth. And that's what made me quit my 20 years of IT experience to do something like this, right? So now, when I looked at this, India, more than 30% is India, the percentage of youth is more than 30%. So if youth don't take ownership, if youth don't take accountability, you can imagine the country that we would have. If someone asks you today, what is India? We probably will talk about some age-old traditions, culture. We talk about the current scene, the politics, or various things. But how many of us would proudly say, I'm India and I'm an Indian? Right? And what would it take for us to make the country that we want to be proud of? I think that is something that each of us are responsible for. And like I said, the first thing is to address why. And how many of you can see? All of us? All of you are able to hear me now? Yeah? I'm able to stand here? Yes? And since we are sitting in RVIM, all of us have access to quality education? Yes? These questions might seem silly to you, but millions of Indians have answered as no to these questions. These basic questions of can you see, can you stand, can you walk, do you have access to quality education, do you have 3 meals a day? No, I don't. Millions of Indians don't have these basic necessities. And if we, who have this privilege, and because of none of our good or anything, right? We just were lucky to be born in a setup where we had access to all this. We don't realize it, how lucky we have been. It is a chance. It is a chance that we all have got. We are lucky to be born in a setup where we don't have to struggle for basic necessities. And if we question, why me, who else? Right? So the first thing I want all of us to take is, if not me, who else? Now let's come to the second part of the action, which is what? What can I do? Right? We all feel helpless. Let me share a story. During this pandemic, I volunteered to mentor only 2 kids, okay? 2 kids who are in their 10th grade, and they go to a government school. The biggest worry for the NGO that works with them is that they should not drop out during this, because they should not drop out, families forcing them to get married or just get back to work because there is no livelihood. So there is this volunteering program called Motivation Calls. All I have to do is call once a week to these two girls and then chat with them. I can't guide them academically, I can't help their problems. I just have to chat them, keep their motivation high, and ensure that they don't drop out and study. After a couple of weeks, I hear them say, "Ma'am, I can't understand." And she was even quoting electricity and this and that, which I couldn't have sat with her and made her understand, right? She said, "Ma'am, last year, even the kids who went to school failed. Now I don't know how I will pass because I'm not even understanding." And then at the end of it, I was feeling very helpless. I felt, okay, I'm doing one call a week, but what am I doing? Right? And my 18-year-old son said, "It's okay, Amma. At least if they know that someone cares for them, someone is bothered whether they studied or not, it's fine." Right? So that was a moment of, okay, a realization for me. Yes, I'm not doing enough, but probably just a matter that, okay, somebody cares for them is enough. So when it comes to the question of what, right? Just get started. It doesn't matter what. Just do what is within your reach, within your possibilities, and what can you do. Just get started with what. So now we said, why me? And if not me, who else? Then we thought, okay, what can I do? And then simple things happen. Now the question is how? How can I do these things? And right there, you see a Center for Social Responsibility in RBIM. And that's the kind of platforms you have to get exposure to things like this, right? How do I do it? You have a platform to do it. How do I do it? You have a management which gives attention to things like this. How do I do it? You have people around who are doing it, right? So it's just a matter of taking that initiative and how will emerge. I'll quote another story. I was once traveling from Dharwad, my native, to Bangalore. And in the train, there is this young girl who is sitting near the window, and she opened a biscuit packet, right? She ate the biscuit and she threw the wrapper out of the window, train window. Before I could even think or realize what she is doing, the wrapper was out of the window. And then I was, first of all, shocked. And then I was just waiting, and she opened another wrapper. And this time I was watching. And before she could throw, I said, "No, you're not going to do that." And guess what would have been her response? She said, "I don't like to be told what to do." Is that the way we want to be? And what would it take for us to be accountable for ourselves and for others? I came out of a lot of my comfort zone to tell her that. There were enough voices within me telling, "It's not your business. It's okay, let her do. You're not there to tell her every day. You're not there to tell everyone." But if each of us start doing it, if each of us start holding ourselves accountable and others accountable, we all can reach and state that we are from India, a country that we are proud of. Now let me come to the last part of this action. How long? That's another question that bothers us, isn't it? After why, what, how long, man? How long will I do it? Right? People have been doing it for years and we don't still see any improvement. There is still a dirty spot there. There is still this. How long will I do it? Here again, I would like to quote a story. Story of my mother and mother-in-law. My mother had to drop out of school after 7 because she comes from a remote village. And her brother ensured that even after a gap of a year, she got back to 8th and completed 10th at least. Then after 10th, the same situation arose because there was no, what do you do after 10th? And he ensured she got her to the nearest town, Dharwad, and made sure she completed her graduation. And as the family circumstances demanded few years later, she left 3 kids behind, completed her B.Ed, and supported the family financially. And now, if this was the story of my mother, when I got married, I had even more inspiring story of my mother-in-law, who had studied just up to 7th. She didn't have the support or this thing to complete her graduation. But after 8 kids, and she had to support the family financially, she went on to complete her 10th in an open school or a direct program. Then someone supported her to do teacher training, TCH. She completed that, and then she became a teacher and supported the family. Now, when I look at these two stories, if it was not about those two people who motivated my mother or mother-in-law to go ahead and do something, we wouldn't be here today. And we talk of women empowerment, and today I stand here as a woman entrepreneur, and I wouldn't be here today if one person hadn't taken that initiative to nudge the ladies then to come out of their comfort zone and do it. So development takes time. Sometimes it could be generations, right? So my mother and mother-in-law struggled. They supported financially, but they ensured education for me and my husband and the family. And because of that, I stand here today, right? So that is development. Today, I might have talked to that 10th grade girl who possibly could have dropped out during the pandemic time, but she's staying on because somebody is calling her every week. I'm not helping the millions of girls who are probably dropping out today, but I have made difference to that girl. And that girl probably, and I'm hoping, will stand something like this years later and tell a story that somebody made a difference, right? So it is on all of us to take that responsibility, no matter how much, no matter how long, no matter what, it is us, right? So on this day, when we probably don't have, we are not fighting for freedom. We are not. That is done deal. We are in a free country. What we are and the responsibility that we have today is to be accountable for ourselves, to be responsible, and to make everyone around us responsible. So the question is, if not me, who else? With these words, I would like to conclude my speech. Hope you take that time to reflect today. Thank you.